Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into three simple stories that kind of feel like modern fables. But what's amazing is that they hold these surprisingly powerful lessons about business, about creativity, lessons that are often hiding in plain sight, in the very things we're all too quick to just dismiss.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird question, right? A wooden rickshaw and a clay pot. But the answer, well, it gets to a fundamental truth about innovation. See, it's not always born in some high-tech lab with a massive budget. Sometimes, real genius sparks from having almost nothing at all.
So let's jump right into our first story. This is about a carpenter named Madhav, who was, truly at rock bottom. And yet, he managed to build something incredible from, literal scraps, an invention that would end up changing everything for his community.
So picture this. Madhav's situation was really tough. He's unemployed, living in a poor village, and the pressure is just immense. He finally gets a job with the forest department, but it doesn't last. And the reason he got fired is where our story really begins.
So get this, he was fired for taking wood that his boss literally called garbage, termite-infested junk. But Madhav, he saw potential. First, he builds a simple rickshaw, but it's way too slow. Then he stumbles upon a discarded engine in the forest, and boom, his creation has power. But the journey was far from over. A rival gets that engine confiscated. He could have just given up right then and there. But he didn't. He kept going. And the final piece of the puzzle? This powerful engine, gifted by his now successful daughter, turned his scrap heap project into an absolute legend.
And you can just imagine him, proudly telling his customers this. What started as a project born from actual trash became the fastest ride in town. It was a symbol of performance that the whole village would line up for. They even gave it a nickname, the Ferrari rickshaw. How cool is that?
All right, so our second story really builds on this same idea. It's all about the incredible value hiding in traditional skills and how honoring your passion, even when other people don't get it, can lead to a major breakthrough.
So let's meet Yogesh. He absolutely loved being a potter, carrying on the craft of his family. But his mother, she saw it as a dead end, a path to poverty. She pushed him constantly to give it up for a modern job in the city. So he's completely torn, stuck between what he loves to do and what his family thinks he should do.
Now Yogesh stuck with it. But here's the real key. The turning point wasn't just him being stubborn. It was support. His wife, Abba, she saw the value in his work. Her encouragement gave him the confidence to go sell his pots at a fair. And that one small success lit a fire for a much, much bigger idea. A refrigerator that runs on zero electricity.
Think about that. Just one simple question, and it changed everything. It wasn't about the money, it was about someone recognizing the value in his passion. Abba's validation was the real catalyst. It shifted Yogesh's entire story from one of doubt to one of empowerment, and that's what unlocked his true potential to innovate.
Okay, for our final story, we're looking at a classic showdown. It's that timeless battle, quality and craftsmanship versus the cheap, mass-produced stuff. It's a fantastic lesson in the power of integrity.
So, you've got Baldev, this honest-to-goodness artisan famous in his village for a handmade Pepsi drink that everybody just loved. His business was a local institution. But then, along comes a rival shopkeeper, Pawan, who decides to take a shortcut by selling a cheaper, factory-made version from the city.
And the difference couldn't be more stark, right? On one side, you have Baldev's drink, handcrafted, natural, trusted. On the other, a factory-made imitation that's just full of chemicals. And for a little while, believe it or not, the new, cheap stuff was winning over the villagers, and Baldev's business really started to suffer.
But then, one person, just one informed voice, cut through all that noise. A visitor named Neha. She knew right away that the factory drink was bad news. She warned her family, and that single warning just rippled through the whole community. Once they knew the truth, the villagers turned their backs on the cheap stuff and went right back to Baldev's quality product.
Okay, so let's zoom out. A carpenter, a potter, and a guy making a drink. On the surface, they seem totally different, right? But when you really look at them, there's this powerful common thread that ties all three of these stories together. This is the big idea right here. Each one of our heroes took something that society had basically thrown away and found extraordinary value in it. Madhav took useless wood. Yogesh used his outdated skills. Baldev stuck with his simple recipe. They all found treasure where everybody else just saw trash.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, these stories give us a kind of blueprint for success that doesn't need venture capital or a fancy degree. It's about being resourceful with what you've got, respecting the wisdom of the past, and just holding on to your integrity. It shows us that, failure is just part of the journey, and that sometimes one simple voice of encouragement is all it takes to spark a revolution.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. For you and for me, we're always chasing the next big thing, right? The latest tech, the newest trend. But what if the most powerful innovations are just waiting to be rediscovered in the skills, the materials, and the ideas we've already written off? So, take a look around your own world. What's the waste that you've been ignoring? What's that thing that might just hold the key to the next great idea?